Hello and thank you for your interest in ACC Racehost. The application is available from Overtake or accracehost.com. Let's take a look at Overtake. As you can see, it's currently on Overtake. Let's download it from Overtake and we'll take a look at how to install it, where to run it from and how to run it, and more importantly how to get a quick server up and running. Okay, with that downloaded, let's close the browser for the moment. Let's go into our downloads folder, and with the new operating systems we need to unblock the files that we download, all files from any source including Microsoft files. Okay, so let's move that to the desktop and extract it. Okay, now if we take a quick look at the readme, I'm going to take you through everything, but first of all we need to move the folder to a suitable location where we want to run it from. The examples here are a C drive and a folder called apps, or perhaps a D drive. Avoid Windows folders such as documents and other folders that may be synced with OneDrive. So this includes downloads, documents, pictures, videos, etc. Okay, the first start, I'll take you through that process, but the readme is there, and I'll also take you through the network setup. If you want to set it up manually, you don't have to. Okay, so here's the folder that we need to take to a suitable location. So I'm going to put it in my C drive, and then a folder called apps. I've got other applications in here, but we'll just paste it in here. You can drag it as well. You notice I just cut it and paste it in there, but you can certainly just drag it in here. Okay, so let's go into the ACC Racehost folder. You can see you've got a link to the website there, so you can go to the website. You've got the readme. That's a little explanation about each set and what it does. Yep. Okay, and more importantly we have the application itself. So let's run Racehost, and you can see it's a browser app. And let's go from top to bottom. At the top we've got switch theme if you prefer the original theme. Pardon me, excuse me. We've also got exit application, so we can exit the app if we want. And we've got the icon down here as well. So if we've got the server running and we don't want the browser open, we can close it, and you can see we've got the tray icon. And if the server was running, it would still be running, and we've got access to the GUI. Okay, so let's switch the theme back to the CyberSynth theme, sorry, excuse me, and let's go from top to bottom. So at the top we've got switch theme, and you can exit the app. We've got start track rotation, so we've got a track rotation down here. We can add new tracks to the rotation, even if it's live. Say the server was running on track 2, and we wanted to change track 3 at the last minute. Well, we can change it to whatever we want and save the rotation. So once track 2 ends, it will go on to Alton Park. Okay, so same again, say we weren't, it's on track 2 and we weren't happy with track 3 and we got the order mixed up, perhaps we could move Monza up into track 3, save the rotation, and when Spa ends it will go to Monza. Another note, once it ends, it reaches the end of the rotation, it will go back to track 1, track 2, track 3, track 4, and just keep doing that. Okay, so that's the rotation. It also has single track mode. If we select single track mode from the top, it's going to run this first track here, although we don't need to run single track 1. We can run individually anything. We can run Alton Park, for instance, just on its own in normal mode, and it will just behave like a normal server without rotation. So you can use these as presets if you want. If you want to keep it really simple and you're not interested in track rotation, you can just have the one track here and just use the run single track. However, if you want to run presets, what you can do is, say you wanted a Nordschleifer preset, okay, and you wanted a Monza preset, and you wanted a Kyalami preset. Well, you can just keep these in here. Don't use the track rotation. And when you want to run Monza, run Monza. If you want to run Kyalami, run Kyalami. So the track rotation also acts as presets. Okay, so that's how to start the server in rotation mode and in single track mode. Let's take a look at the server setup. Okay, in the server setup we've got the usual suspects. So we've got our ports, our server name, our passwords, our driver requirements, whether the track requires track medals or not, or the safety rating, for example. And we also have our formation. The default is position. Just leave it at that. Auto DSQ, this will allow the server to automatically disqualify bad behavior drivers that really break the rules. The server will disqualify them or give them drive-throughs, etc. Short formation, we want that on. We don't want to do a full lap. So yeah, that's the server settings. Really basic. Once you configure your settings, press save settings, and that will save those. The BOP Manager, I've gave people the LFM BOP with the version 1.03, sorry, excuse me. If you're not happy with the BOP, you can come in here and edit the BOP. The BOP is extremely long, so keep that in mind. Once you make any changes, you can save the BOP at the bottom, or you can scroll up and save it at the top. Okay, you can also add more custom entries if you want. Okay, the EntryList Manager, as you can see, we've got no drivers at the moment. If you're building your own entry list, you want to enable dump entry list and get the drivers you need. We can also add drivers in here, so if we add a car slot, we can add the driver name, Steam ID, and override the driver. So if we've got the player's Steam ID and we've got override driver on, we can assign whatever name we want. So say we had Andy McDonald and we had his Steam ID, we could change his name to anything we want. So when he joins the server, he's going to have that name that we set in here. Okay, so we'll just do that entry, save the entry list. Okay, player ban list, this one relies on the server setup having the dump leaderboards on. The reason for that is that's where we get the driver name and Steam IDs to ban players. If you have a player misbehaving and they leave the server, you can come in here and get the session results and get the player's name and Steam ID and ban the player. Okay, backup and restore. If we want to export a backup, we can. That will export all of the settings, all the server settings, BOP, entry list, all your rotation, etc, etc. Okay, so to get a quick server going, let's use track 1. We want Kyalami, we want GT3, we want a loud refueling, just the basic standard default settings. The weather, we've got some presets in here. We can set a custom preset if we want. So if we want to save these settings into this preset, we can save preset and we can give it a name. So we'll give it a new, a new name. Okay, and that then will become that. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So let's give Kyalami sunny clear weather. In fact, let's give it some light rain. Okay, so some light rain, save rotation. Okay, timings. Overtime, this is the time after the leader finishes the race. This is how much time the rest of the players have to cross the line. The pre-race time is the amount of seconds that the players spend on the grid before formation. And the post-quali and post-race times are the time between the end of the overtime and the next session beginning. Okay, and a further note, the Nordschleifer. So if you have the Nordschleifer selected, The overtime for nurse life is 450 seconds, so we'd put that to 450 and save the rotation. The default is 150, that's to cover Spa Francorchamps, but let's put it back to Kyalami, save rotation. Okay, sessions. We can remove these sessions and add sessions, so typically we'd add a practice, a quali, and then a race. If we had the server on rotation mode and we wanted to do 3 races of Kyalami before moving on to the second track, we can do qualifying, race, add a qualifying, add a race, add a qualifying, add a race. So we'd cycle through those sessions, qualifying, race, qualifying, race, qualifying, race, and then it would go to track 2 if you were in rotation mode. Okay, so let's remove them. Let's keep the qualifying and the race. We can set the day. So qualifying is typically a Saturday, free practice is typically a Friday, and race is typically a Sunday. Okay, so let's put qualifying and race, save the rotation. Okay, so that's the setup for each track. The pit stop rules, the weather, the timings, and the sessions. Okay, so let's start the server for the first time, and we're going to save everything just in case again. When you're on the server, it will save everything anyway, but it's best practice just to save everything as you go. So Kyalami GT3, we can run rotation mode. As I said, it's going to go through 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or we can start single track mode, track 1, which is Kyalami, or we can run Monza if we wanted. As I said, you can use these as presets, so we could run a single track on Monza and it will just loop like a normal server. Okay, but we want to run track 1 Kyalami, so we're going to just run single track for the first time. We're going to start the server, and we need to give it network access, both public and private. Your firewall will pop up. Let's allow public, and private allow access. Okay, that's the server now live. Now at the moment no one can access the server because the ports are not open. We need to either go and enable them manually. Let's take a look at that. So I've got the BT Home Hub. Let's wait on the old Home Hub loading. You may have Sky, you may have Virgin. Every router is a little bit different. So let's log into the router. Okay, let's go into the firewall, and you can see I've already got ports here for another computer that's running 2 ACC servers and a web interface, HTTPS and HTTP. But we need to add our server here. So the TCP port is 9232. So let's create a new rule, and we'll call this ACC TCP2, and select the computer where the server is running on. In this case it's RLCS, and it's 9232, 9232, 9232, 9232. Okay, and that's TCP. Let's add that rule. Okay. Okay, let's add another rule for the UDP. Select the computer again. Okay, and I think this is 9231 for the UDP. 9231, 92. Oh. 9231, 9231 and 9232 is the default ports for Assetto Corsa Competizione. So that's our UDP. Let's add that and save. The BT Home Hub is a bit quirky. And most routers you add as many rules as you want and then apply, and it will apply them all. Okay, so the server is now accessible to the public, so let's boot up the game. Okay, here we are on the multiplayer screen. Let's search for our server. There it is. It's on Kyalami with a safety rating of 60 and a 12-minute qualifying and 20-minute race. So let's join that. And we did put it on light rain, so we do in fact have light rain. Very light rain indeed. That's pretty cool. So this is running in single track mode, and we haven't set the admin password up yet. Let's simulate the next session. So this would be the end of qualifying, and then the race begins. We've got 5 seconds that we just had. Okay, let's simulate the next session again. So this is the end of the race, and we'll just go back to qualifying like normal server. Okay, so let's quit this. Okay, so as you can see, the server is public. Okay, so if you don't want to come in here and set up these ports, okay, we can remove them like so. And if we come back and stop the server, and we'll give it a cool server name and enable uPnp, and let's save those changes. Okay, let's change it to let's change it to Monza. We can just run Monza down here, but we haven't got the weather set in that one, which I believe was light rain. Okay, so let's switch it to Monza. We're using enable uPnp, and let's save the settings again just in case. Okay, and let's run single track mode. Okay, the server's now live, and if we go into the firewall and check the ports, we can see ACC Racehost has enabled the 2 ports automatically and is using uPnp. Okay, the Virgin, the Sky, the BT, everything like that come default with uPnp enabled. The reason why is because your PlayStation, your Xbox, your Smart TV, your Sky box, your streaming box, everything uses uPnp. If not, you need to set it up manually, so that's why they ship it with default enabled uPnp. Anyway, with that aside, let's go and check on our server, our cool server name. And as I said, we're just running single track just now, but we're testing the uPnp. Okay, so let's boot up the game. Okay, here we're back. Let's search for our cool server name, and we can see it's live. It's also on the LAN. It's always on the LAN. Bit of a quirk. The LAN doesn't show any additional information, but even though you can enable the LAN option and the options, and it still won't give any additional information. But as we can see, the server is live on the public listings, so, and we can join it. However, let's go and take a look at the track rotation. Okay, so we can see we've got uPnp enabled there, and the server is running. Let's stop the server, and go back and see the ports are gone. So the ports only open when the server is running. Okay, unlike these other ports where the ports are constantly open because they're manually set up. Okay, but that's how to set up your ports anyway for the game, or you can use uPnp. Okay, so let's take a look at track rotation. So as we've seen, we had Monza and we had some light rain. Pretty cool. Let's go for the Nordschleife, and we need to adjust the timing here of 450 seconds. We could also maybe increase the race time to maybe 28 minutes and practice maybe 16 minutes. Okay, let's save that rotation. And for the final one, we'll go Bathurst and we'll go Bathurst and we'll go light rain again, and we'll have this one night time. So we'll have 2300 hours, and the race will have at 3 AM. Okay, and we'll default this to 12 and 20 for the sprint. Okay, save rotation. Okay, so we have Monza, Nordschleife, Bathurst on the rotation. Let's start rotation mode. Okay, the server's running. We can close the browser and boot up the game. Okay, here we're back. Let's search for our cool server name. Okay, we've got one live server. It's on Monza. Monza on light rain. We have got a randomness of 1. It shouldn't affect it too much, but sometimes it will be dry, but 90 odd % of the time it will be very light rain, as we can see. Okay, so let's put the admin password in. What we're going to do is we're going to simulate these sessions. So we're going to go to next, and what that's going to do what that's going to do is that's going to simulate the end of qualifying and go to the end of the race. Okay, so we're going to do the same again. We're going to go next, so that is the end of the race, and obviously back to qualifying. The server's going to restart, and we should be on to our next track, which is the Nordschleife. Okay, Nürburgring 24 ring. Okay, here we are at the Nordschleife. It's night time, as we can see. Saturday, 11 PM qualifying, and 3 PM for the race. Same again. Let's simulate the end of the sessions. Don't forget to set your admin password up before you go live. And let's go. Let's go to the next session. This will simulate the end of qualifying and the beginning of the race, 3 AM. Let's simulate the end of the race, so that's the end of the race for everyone, and the server's going to restart. Okay, let's quit. And the last race is Bathurst Mount Panorama. Okay, and you can see we've got a light rain here, so let's simulate the next session, which is the race. Okay, Let's simulate the end of the race. Okay, the server will restart and go back to track 1. And we're back to Monza. Okay, so that's track rotation. That's pretty cool. Okay, so let's stop the server and let's take a look at the ban list. Now, I should be in this list, so let's take a look. These are the result files that are stored, the leaderboards, dump leaderboards. Okay, so we need to have that enabled to get these files, which enable us to find drivers. Anyway, there I am. Let's add me to the ban list. Okay, I'm currently on the ban list. Let's save the rotation just in case. Okay, and let's just start track 1, Monza. Let's go into the game. Excuse me. Let's go to multiplayer. Lost my train of thought there. Let's search for our cool server name. There we are. Now remember, I'm on the ban list, so let's see what happens here. Okay, select the Lexus, it's saying. I've already got the Lexus because I've been here before. Okay, it's not going to let me in. Okay, so the way the ban is working is when you add a player to the ban list, it assigns that player car number 9999. Car number 9999 doesn't exist, so it defaults to the Lexus. But you can't get in anyway because yeah, you've been assigned a car that doesn't exist. So that's how the ban list works. It's pretty cool. And of course, if I remove myself from the list and restart the server, I will be able to join, no problem. Okay, so I hope that covers everything. One last thing is the weather simulator. So I've gave you some baseline references that will give you a guide to see how the weather is affected using the graph here. So if we look at the sunny preset, we can see that the cloud is below the temperature and there's 0 rain. If we look at overcast, we can see the cloud is above the temperature. Same again, still 0 rain. If we go to light rain, we can see that we've got some rain applied with a 13% intensity, and the cloud is still above the temperature. Medium rain, the rain's actually intersecting the temperature, and same again, the cloud is above the temperature. And if we look at heavy rain, we can see that the rain is superseding the temperature. You could probably bring that rain down a little, maybe there, to have a maybe lower intensity. And temperature also affects the rain and the cloud. So if we take the free practice here, for instance, and maybe put it up to 11 o'clock at night, you can see that instead of operating in this temperature zone, we're going to be dropping right down in temperature as well. That does affect the cloud and the rain level. It will affect the rain intensity. What it's really doing is affecting the cloud, and the cloud is then affecting the rain. So it's a kind of daisy chain effect. But that's the weather simulator. It's quite accurate. What is accurate is these presets here: sunny, clear, overcast, light rain, medium rain, heavy rain. Very accurate. High 90s percentage. And you've got the custom presets to set your own. That you can use the weather simulator and then store those settings in here. So I hope that covers everything. If you've got any questions, leave your questions in the comments below, and I will get back to you. Look out for new versions as ever. Check the website, check Overtake, and yeah, thank you for your time. Thank you for getting through this video. I know it's been a long one. Okay, we'll see you next time. Thank you.